Hey guys, in this project we're going to be building a WordPress widget, which is a different type of plugin. Now we're going to build it in the plugins directory. We're going to be able to activate it from the back end. Everything works just like any other plugin in that aspect, except that we're also going to be able to manage it. If we look in the back end here and we go to Appearance and then Widgets, okay, we're going to be able to see it here, bring it over to whatever position we want, and then we can configure it from here. Alright, and a widget is basically just its own self-contained functionality. Alright, so if we look at this default WordPress theme and we look at the content on the sidebar, we have a search, recent posts. These are all self-contained widgets. Alright, and each template or each theme has its own widget positions. In this case, we have a sidebar where all of the widgets are, but we also have a content bottom 1 and a content bottom 2. Alright, so when we build a widget, we can put it in any of these positions. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with creating the files. Alright, so I'm in the plugins directory. Now you might notice that if we go to WP includes, there's actually a widgets folder. Alright, don't get confused and build your widget here. Okay, so this is just the core widgets that come with WordPress. You don't want to build it here. You want to put it in the plugins folder, alright, which is in WP content. Alright, so let's go ahead and create this. And we're going to create a folder called social links. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to build a widget that will show some icons with links to social profiles. Alright, so we'll have Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Google+. Alright, and each icon will have a link to the user's profile, which they can configure in the back end here in the widget area. Alright, so it's going to be called social links. So we're going to create a PHP file called social links. Okay, and let's create some folders. Okay, let's do a CSS folder, and we'll do JS, and also includes. And we're also going to have an images folder to hold our icons. Actually, we'll just call this IMG. All right. Now in the CSS, let's create a style CSS. Now there's not going to be much we're going to be doing in terms of styles, but I think it's a good idea just to have the files just in case. Because if you're going to make this widget or this plugin public, users that download it may want to change some stuff, and they'll have a place to do that. Alright, and then in the JavaScript folder we'll create main.js. Alright, and then in the includes, let's do a scripts folder, a scripts file. So we'll call this social links scripts.php. And when we're working with widgets, you want to use the widget class. So this is going to be object-oriented programming with PHP. And if we go to the codex and we go to the widgets API, there's actually a good example here. Well, this is just kind of like a boilerplate. We have a class. We can call it whatever we want. We have to make sure that it extends WP widget. All right, and then we need these 4 functions. We need a construct. We need a function called widget. We need one called form, and we need one called update. All right, and I'll go through and explain what each one does in a second. All right, so what we'll do here is create a new document, and let's call this social links class.php. All right, and that should be all the files and folders that we need. All right, so let's go ahead and open the main file here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy from the last project. I just want to get the comment block here. Alright, if you don't have this project, just copy this. Alright, I'm just going to change the plugin name. to social links, and we'll say add social icons with links to profiles. Okay, and this is just going to make it so that it can't be accessible directly. All right, let's go ahead and require. We're going to require the scripts file. All right, so we'll say load scripts, and we're going to say require once. Require once, and then we can get the plugin directory path. Okay, and then from there we're going to go slash includes slash social links scripts .php. And I'm just going to make this a little wider. Okay, so let's go ahead and save that, and then we'll go to the scripts. All right, and let's just test this out. We'll just say die. Actually, we need our PHP tag. Oops. We'll say die loaded. All right, so now we're going to have to enable the widget, all right, or the plugin. Okay, so we need to go to plugins, and let's see, social links. We're going to activate that. All right, so you can see that it's spitting out loaded here, and this is happening because it's giving a fatal error. All right, so let's go ahead and get rid of that, and that should fix it. Okay, so now if we go and activate. Now this right here, it says there's a new version. This is happening because apparently there's another plugin called social links. Alright, so if you want to call it something else, that's fine. I'm just going to go ahead and leave that. Alright, and we'll activate it. And let's see, the plugin generated 5 characters of unexpected output during activation. Alright, so that's just from what just happened. Okay, if we reload, you can see that it's active. All right, now what we're going to do is go into the scripts file, and we're going to include our scripts. All right, so let's do a function, and we're going to call this SL. We're going to use SL as a prefix. Add script. Actually, let's do add scripts. Okay, and then we'll do WP underscore NQ, what is it? QUEUE, and we'll do the style sheet first. And for this, we'll just do SL dash main style. All right, and then we need the location. So we can use plugins underscore URL. That'll get us to the plugins folder. And then from there, we'll go to slash social links. And then we want to do CSS slash style.css. All right, and then we'll do the same thing for the JavaScript. So we'll copy that. Okay, except this one is going to be script instead of style. And we'll call this SL main script. Social links, let's change that to JS. And we'll change this to main.js. All right, now in order for this to actually run, we need to do an add action. Okay, and then we want WP ENQ EUE underscore scripts. Okay, then we want to just add this. Okay, so that should now load in the front end. So let's go back here and reload. And if we look at the source, we'll do a search for social. All right, so it doesn't seem to be loading. Let's see. Social links, it's active. Huh. That's weird. It shouldn't be showing up. Oh, I spelled this wrong. This has a Q. I mean, sorry, it has a U. Oh, there it is, right here. Plugin, social links, CSS style. And then down here we have, where is it? Right here. Social links, main.js. All right, so we know that that's working. So now let's go ahead and create the class. All right, so we'll go into our social links class PHP file. Actually, before we do that, we have to actually include it here. So let's go ahead and just copy this. Okay, and then we'll say load class. And we're going to change this to class. All right. And what we can do is just grab this right here from the documentation, paste that in. Okay, we're going to need PHP tags. All right, so let's change this. We're going to call it social links widget. All right. Now the construct, this is where we can add the name, and if we look at the documentation and go down a little bit, we have a good example right here. Okay, so what we're going to do is call the parent construct, and we're going to include an ID and a name. All right, so let's change this. Instead of foo widget, let's call it social underscore links widget. All right, and then the widget title, social links widget. And for a text domain, let's just do sl underscore domain. And then a description, say outputs, social icons linked to profiles. Okay, we also need our text domain here. All right, and that's it. That's all we have for the construct. Now, this one here, as you can see, it outputs the content of the widget in the front end. All right, so let's just go ahead and we can actually just return test front end. All right, the next one, form, is for the back end form. All right, but we can just actually, let's end the PHP and then start it again down here, and then in here we can just have HTML. So let's just say test backend form, and then update. This is going to run when we save it. We save the form and we want to update the old instance with the new instance. All right, for right now we're just going to leave that. So let's save that. And before we're able to see it in the widgets console, we have to register the widget. So we're going to go back to the main PHP page down here. Whoops, sorry about that. Let's say register widget, and that needs to be a comment. Oops. All right. So we are gonna create a function, and let's say register social links, and in here we're gonna call register widget, and let's put in the name. So actually what you need to put in is the class. Okay, so we have social links widget. So we want to grab that and just put that in right here. All right, that's all we need there. Now we need to add the action. And we're going to want to do this at widgets init. Okay, so when the widgets are initialized, this will be called. Okay, so let's save that. And let's go to the back end. And now let's go to appearance and then widgets. And now if we go down here, you can see we now have social links widget. All right, so let's bring that up into the sidebar. All right, and you can see we're getting the test backend form, so that's doing what it's supposed to. Let's save it, go to the front end. All right, so it's not showing up here in the front end. Let me see. Let's go back to the class. Oh, it's because I returned it. What we can do here is we can either echo it out, or we can do what we did down in the form, and we can end the PHP. And then here, let's say test front end. There we go. All right. So it's showing up on both the back end and the front end. So that's what we want. So in the next video, we're going to start the back end form. All right, because we're going to need quite a few things here. I actually have it written down right here. All right, so we're going to need a title for the widget in case we want to display a title on the front end. We're going to need the Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Google Plus URLs. Okay, so the profiles. And then we're also going to need links to the icons, all right? And we're going to include a set of default icons that they can use, but if they want, they can update this to a different location, or they can just replace the icons. And then we also need an icon, probably going to do an icon width, all right? Because they're usually square, so the width is the same as the height in most cases. All right, so that's what we'll get into next.